Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Without Limit. I'm Julia, your host for today. If you're new here, let me tell you, we upload a new English learning video every single day to help you improve your English faster and more naturally. In today's episode, you'll not only improve your listening skills, but also your speaking and pronunciation. And not just any kind of speaking. We're going to help you speak like an American. That means learning the flow, the rhythm, the accent, and the expressions Americans use in daily life. This lesson will guide you through real patterns of American English, using everyday conversations and short stories. By the end of this video, you'll feel more confident, sound more natural, and most importantly, you'll speak English the way Americans really do in their everyday lives. Make sure to subscribe and press the bell icon if you want more helpful English learning episodes like this. So, grab a pen and paper, and let's get started. Let's start by imagining a simple morning routine. You wake up, stretch a little, and say to yourself, I got to get up. I'm running late. That phrase, I got to get up, is a perfect example of American-style casual speech. Instead of saying, I have to get up, which is grammatically correct but sounds a bit stiff, Americans usually say, I got to get up. This kind of casual expression makes your English sound more fluent and natural. Now let's take that a little further. Imagine you walk into the kitchen and your roommate says, Hey, you want some coffee? Not, do you want some coffee? Just, you want some coffee? This dropping of the helping verb do is common in American speech. It gives the sentence a faster, more relaxed rhythm. Now repeat after me. I got to get up. I'm running late. You want some coffee? Say them a few times. Slowly first, then at a normal pace. Notice how your tongue and lips move and how the rhythm feels more natural each time. This is the first step to sounding like a native speaker. Getting used to the flow. Let's move to another common situation. Going to work or school. Imagine you're walking down the street and you bump into your friend. They say, What's up? Or, How's it going? These greetings are key to sounding American. Instead of saying, How are you? Which can sound a little too formal, try, What's up? Or, How's it going? You can answer with, Not much, pretty good, or same old, same old. These expressions are used every day and are essential for fitting in naturally in conversation. For example, try this short dialogue. Friend, Hey, what's up? You, Not much, just heading to work. You, Friend, Same old, can't wait for the weekend. This is real, natural American English. Let's practice it aloud now. Hey, what's up? Not much, just heading to work. You? Same old, can't wait for the weekend. When practicing these sentences, try to say them smoothly. Don't pause too much between words. Americans tend to link words together. Instead of saying, What is up? It becomes, What's up? Instead of, Going to work. It becomes, Gonna work. So here's another tip. Practice using contractions and reductions. I am going to eat becomes, I'm gonna eat. She is going to study becomes, she's gonna study. The more you practice these, the more natural you'll sound. Now let's imagine you're at a coffee shop. The barista asks, What can I get started for you? And you reply, Can I get a medium iced coffee? Notice the pattern here. Americans often say, Can I get? Instead of, May I have? It's more casual, more common, and more American. Try saying it aloud. Can I get a medium iced coffee? Can I get a bagel with cream cheese? Can I get a turkey sandwich? These are real, useful sentences you can use in everyday situations. Now imagine you're chatting with a friend and telling a short story. You say, "So yesterday I was at the store, and guess what? I totally forgot my wallet." I was like, "Oh no." This use of "I was like" is very common in American storytelling. It's used to describe what you said or thought. For example, he was like, "Let's go." And I was like, "No way." This style makes your speech more expressive and lively. Let's do a quick practice together. Say this story after me. "So I was walking to the bus stop and this guy comes up to me and goes, 'Hey, do you have the time?' And I'm like, 'Yeah, it's 10:30. Then he says, 'Thanks,' and walks away." Simple, casual, real American English. Repeat the story and focus on the tone, the expressions, and how the conversation flows. Let's pause for a moment and focus on pronunciation. One key feature of American pronunciation is the use of the flap T. For example, in words like butter, better, and water, the T sounds more like a soft D. So instead of saying butter, you say butter. Instead of water, it becomes waiter. Try saying it out loud. Butter, better, water, later, writer. These soft, connected sounds are part of what makes American English sound smooth and quick. Let's add a short story to practice all these points. Imagine this. You're meeting a friend for lunch. You say, "Hey, I'm running a little late, but I'll be there in 10. Your friend says, "No worries, I just got here." You reply, "Cool, can you grab me a table?" "I'm starving." When you arrive, you say, "Thanks for waiting. I totally lost track of time." Your friend smiles and says, "It's all good. Let's eat." This tiny exchange is full of real American expressions. "I'm running late." "No worries. I just got here. Can you grab me a table?" "I'm starving. I totally lost track of time." "It's all good. Let's eat." Now practice repeating this story aloud. Focus on sounding natural. Don't read too slow or too carefully. Imagine you're talking to a friend. That's the best way to train your brain to think and speak like a native speaker. The more you speak in natural rhythm, the more confident and fluent you'll feel. Let's move on to another tip, using filler words. In American English, people often use words like, you know, I mean, and so when speaking. While you don't want to overuse them, a few here and there make your speech sound more relaxed and conversational. For example, "So I was walking down the street, and I saw this amazing bakery." Or, "It's kind of hard to focus when it's that noisy." These filler words help give you time to think and make your speech sound more real. Practice this with me. I mean, it's not a big deal. I think he's right. So, what happened next? Try saying them casually with a smooth tone. Don't overthink the grammar. Just let it flow like a real conversation. Now, let's take a moment to think about how Americans talk when they're telling a funny or interesting story. They often use expressions that add personality and feeling to the conversation. Instead of just saying, "I was surprised," they might say, "I was like, no way," or "I couldn't believe it." This kind of storytelling keeps listeners engaged and makes your English feel more lively and expressive. Let's try an example together. Imagine someone says, "So I walked into the store, right?" And the guy at the counter looks at me and says, "We're closed." And I was like, "Seriously? It's only 6 feet." You can hear how the phrases, "and I was like, seriously?" and "right?" add energy and emotion to the story. Practice saying it out loud with your own voice. Don't try to sound perfect. Try to sound real. Now, let's practice a daily routine using American expressions. Imagine you're getting ready for your day. You say, "All right, let's get this day started." You hop in the shower, dry off, and say, "Okay, I gotta hurry or I'll miss the bus." You grab your bag, throw on a hoodie, and rush out the door. On the way, you say, "I hope there's no traffic." At the bus stop, you meet a friend who says, "Morning. You look tired." And you reply, "Yeah, I didn't sleep well. Stayed up binge watching a show." These casual phrases like gotta, throw on, hope there's no you look tired, and binge watching are all part of how Americans really speak in daily life. Practicing short routines like this helps train your brain to form natural sentences without thinking too hard. Now, let's look at how Americans express opinions and feelings. Instead of saying, "I do not agree with you," Americans often say, "I don't know about that," or "I'm not so sure." It sounds softer and more conversational. If someone says something interesting, you can respond with, "That makes sense. I see your point." If you want to say you're excited, try, "I'm pumped," "I'm stoked," "I can't wait." For example, "I'm so pumped for the weekend. I can't wait to see that movie." These expressions give you more personality and make you sound more like a native speaker. Here's a quick conversation to practice. Person A, "Are you coming to the concert on Friday?" Person B, "Totally. I'm so pumped. I've been waiting for weeks." Person A, "Me too. I hope it doesn't rain." Person B, "Yeah, fingers crossed." Try repeating that dialogue a few times. Focus on tone, speed, and expression. Let it flow like you're really having the conversation. Let's talk about another important feature of American speech, connected speech. Americans tend to blend words together, especially in fast speech. For example, "Did you eat?" sounds more like "Did ya eat?" "What are you doing?" becomes "What ya doing?" "I don't know" often turns into "I don't know." These changes are totally normal and happen naturally in conversation. Let's practice. "Did you eat yet?" "What you doing?" "I don't know." Say them slowly first, then faster. You'll notice how the sounds connect and how much smoother it feels. Now, let's build a short story using connected speech. Imagine this scene. You're walking into a party and someone says, "Hey, glad you made it." You respond, "Yeah, traffic was crazy, but I'm here now." They ask, "Did you bring the drinks?" And you say, "Yeah, I got soda and juice." Later, someone says, "What'd you think of the music?" And you answer, "It's awesome. I love this song." All those small phrases, "Did ya? Whatcha? I got?" "It's awesome." Help your English feel more American. Another trick is learning how Americans use emphasis. In American English, people stress certain words to show importance or emotion. For example, "I didn't say he stole the money." This sentence can have a different meaning depending on which word you stress. Try these variations. "I didn't say he stole the money." 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 Try practicing that sentence with different stress points. It's a fun way to understand how intonation changes meaning in American English. Let's imagine a scene at a restaurant. The waiter asks, "Are you guys ready to order?" You say, "Yeah, I'll have the burger." "And can I get a side of fries with that?" Your friend says, "I'll get the chicken sandwich. No mayo, please." The waiter replies, "Got it." "Anything to drink?" You respond, "Just water for me, thanks." These kinds of simple exchanges happen every day. and the more you practice them, the more natural you'll sound. Try repeating the whole scene aloud. Use the right rhythm, tone, and energy. That's how Americans speak. Friendly, casual, and relaxed. Let's do another quick practice. Repeat after me. I'll have the burger. Can I get a side of fries with that? No mayo, please. Just water for me, thanks. Now say it a bit faster and with more confidence. The trick is not to sound perfect. The trick is to sound comfortable. Let's move into a casual phone call. Imagine you're calling a friend and they say, "Hey, what's up?" You say, "Not much, just chillin'. You?" Your friend replies, "Same, just taking a break from work." You say, "Wanna hang out later?" They say, "Sure, hit me up around 5. Notice how Americans often say things like chillin' for relaxing and hit me up for call or message me. These phrases are very common and make your English sound more current. Let's practice that exchange. Hey, what's up? Not much, just chillin'. You? Same, taking a break from work. Wanna hang out later? Sure, hit me up around 5. As we move forward, let's not forget the importance of listening. Listening to American conversations, podcasts, movies, and even YouTube videos helps your brain get used to the way native speakers sound. You begin to recognize the patterns, the expressions, and the natural rhythm. So when you hear someone say, "I was going to go, but I changed my mind," it means, "I was going to go, but I changed my decision." Practice shadowing these phrases. That means repeating them right after you hear them, trying to match the tone and speed. Here's a short shadowing exercise. I was going to call you, but then I got distracted, so I figured I'd just text instead. Say it again, with a little emotion. I was going to call you, but then I got distracted, so I figured I'd just text instead. This kind of practice really builds your ability to speak smoothly. Let's do one more story before wrapping up this section. Imagine you're at a bookstore. A staff member says, "Can I help you find something?" You reply, "Yeah, I'm looking for a book on photography." They say, "Sure, that's in aisle 4, right near the back." You say, "Thanks a lot." And they say, "No problem. Let me know if you need anything else." These real-life situations are perfect for practicing American phrases, tone, and politeness. Repeat the conversation and pay attention to how friendly and helpful the tone sounds. Let's go deeper into American pronunciation. One of the most noticeable things about speaking like an American is the way certain consonants are softened or changed. For example, the T sound in the middle of words like butter often becomes a soft D sound. So instead of butter, Americans say butter. Another example is water, which becomes waiter. Try saying these words slowly first. Butter, water, better, city. Now say them again with the American sound. Butter, waiter, better, city. This change is called a flap, and it happens often in everyday speech. Practicing this pronunciation helps your spoken English sound more native and less robotic. Now, let's use this in a daily situation. You're in a coffee shop and say, "Can I get a cup of water?" With the American sound, it becomes, "Can I get a cup of waiter?" The sounds flow together, and the sentence feels smoother. Try repeating, "Can I get a cup of waiter?" Say it with relaxed confidence. Don't try to be too perfect. Just sound natural. That's the American way. Another fun area is learning how to agree and disagree politely. Americans often soften their disagreements to avoid sounding rude. Instead of saying, "You are wrong," they say, "I'm not sure I agree," or "That's an interesting point, but..." For agreement, they say things like, "Totally," Exactly. That's true, and you nailed it. Practicing these expressions in conversations will help you join discussions without sounding too direct or too distant. Here's a mini conversation. One person says, "I think the movie was boring." The other says, "Really? I actually liked it, but I get why you'd feel that way." That's polite disagreement. Now practice this with a friend or out loud. "Really? I actually liked it, but I get why you'd feel that way." Let's try another dialogue you can use for practice. Imagine you're talking about food. Person A says, "I don't like sushi." Person B says, "No way, I love it." But yeah, it's not for everyone. See how natural and respectful that sounds? Repeat it a few times and try changing the topic. You can use the same structure to talk about books, movies, or anything. Now let's practice a short story that includes American-style phrases and rhythm. You wake up late and realize you've missed your alarm. You jump out of bed and say, "Oh no, I overslept." You rush to get dressed and say, "I've got like 10 minutes." You grab a granola bar and say, "This will have to do." While brushing your teeth, you mumble, "Why didn't I set another alarm?" Then you check the time and say, "I gotta run." These expressions, "Oh no, I've got like, this will have to do, I gotta run," are all part of casual, daily English. Practice saying this story out loud. Add feeling, speed, and your own voice. It helps you internalize the language. Let's now look at how Americans make small talk, like the weather, the weekend, or daily plans. It's very common in American culture. A typical small talk might go like this. "Hey, how's it going?" "Good, you?" "Can't complain. Just trying to get through the week." "Tell me about it." These conversations seem simple, but they're important for connecting with people. Practice with this sample. "Hey, how's it going?" "Good, you?" "Can't complain. Just trying to get through the week." "Tell me about it." Practice saying it with a relaxed tone, like you're chatting with a friend at work or in the elevator. Now, let's try a mini exercise. Imagine you meet someone new. You say, "Hi, I'm Sarah. Nice to meet you." They respond, "Hey, I'm Mike. Nice to meet you too." You ask, "So, what do you do?" They say, "I work in marketing." You? You reply, "I'm in school actually, studying design." This kind of short exchange is super helpful for networking, interviews, or just friendly conversation. Say it aloud a few times until it becomes automatic. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel. Let's move into another daily story. This time, going grocery shopping. You walk into the store and grab a cart. You say to yourself, "Let's see, I need eggs, bread, and maybe some fruit." As you walk down the aisle, you say, do I want apples or bananas?" You pick apples and say, "These look good." Then you spot cookies and say, "Ooh, maybe just one box." At checkout, the cashier says, "Did you find everything okay?" And you reply, "Yep, all good." These are all real phrases you hear in American stores. Try the full story. Let's see, I need eggs, bread, and maybe some fruit. Do I want apples or bananas? These look good. Ooh, maybe just one box. Yep, all good. Repeat the story and enjoy the rhythm. Now let's focus on tone. Americans often use rising and falling tones to express different meanings. When asking a yes/no question, the tone usually rises at the end. "Are you coming?" The pitch goes up. For statements, the pitch falls. "I'm going home." These subtle changes in tone can completely change how your speech sounds. Try practicing these. Do you like it? Rising. I love it. Falling. Is he here? Rising. He's not here. Falling. This pitch pattern is a natural part of American speech. The more you practice, the easier it gets. Let's try a story that uses this tone change. Imagine you're talking on the phone. You say, "Hey, are you coming to the party tonight?" Rising. Your friend replies, "Yeah, I'll be there around 7. Falling. You say, "Cool, are you bringing anything?" Rising. And they say, "Just some chips and soda." Falling. Notice how the questions go up in tone and the answers go down. Try the whole scene with emotion and natural rhythm. Let's now talk about contractions in American English. Native speakers almost always use contractions when speaking. They say I'm instead of I am, you're instead of you are, they're instead of they are, and it's instead of it is. These are small changes, but they make your speech sound more natural and fluent. Try practicing some full sentences using contractions. I'm going to the store. You're going to love this movie. They're waiting outside. It's raining again. Say each sentence out loud a few times. Focus on sounding smooth and relaxed. Don't overpronounce. Just let the words flow. Now imagine a daily conversation with a friend. They say, "Hey, what's up?" And you reply, "Not much. I'm just chilling." They ask, "You're not working today?" You respond, "Nope, I'm off." Then you say, "It's such a nice day out. I might go for a walk." These kinds of sentences use contractions naturally. Practice saying, "I'm just chilling." "You're not working." "I'm off." "It's such a nice day." This is how Americans really talk. Short, casual, and connected. Let's try a little practice exercise. Read this story aloud using contractions and a relaxed tone. I'm heading to the gym this morning. I've got a full day ahead, so I'm trying to get my workout in early. It's not too crowded, which is great. I'm hoping to finish by 9. Then I've got to grab coffee. I'm meeting a friend later, and we're catching a movie. Practice this several times and try recording yourself. Then compare your voice to native speakers. This is a great way to improve your natural fluency. Another key element of speaking like an American is understanding idioms and expressions. These are phrases that don't always make sense word by word, but are common in conversation. For example, break the ice means to start a conversation in a social situation. Hit the books means to start studying. Under the weather means feeling sick. Try saying these in full sentences. I tried to break the ice by telling a joke. I've got finals next week, so I need to hit the books. I'm feeling a bit under the weather today. These expressions are everywhere in American speech. The more you use them, the more fluent you'll sound. Let's use these idioms in a story. You're meeting your classmates for a group project. At first, it's quiet, so you tell a funny story to break the ice. Everyone laughs and starts talking. Later, someone says, "We've got to hit the books if we want to pass this test." You all agree and start working. The next day, one of your group members doesn't show up, and you text them, "Are you okay?" They reply, "I'm feeling a bit under the weather." This short story helps you remember the idioms in context. Try saying it all aloud. Repeat the story until the phrases feel familiar. Now, let's do a practice conversation with American-style expressions and rhythm. Person A says, "Hey, how was your weekend?" Person B replies, "Pretty chill. Just stayed in and watched Netflix." Person A says, "Nice. I went hiking on Sunday. It was awesome." Person B says, "That sounds great. I need to get out more." Notice how short, simple, and relaxed this exchange is. Practice saying it with the same rhythm. Pretty chill. Stayed in. Watched Netflix. These are real phrases you'll hear every day. Another thing that helps you speak like an American is using linking sounds. Americans connect words together so their speech flows. For example, instead of "what are you doing," they say "what you doing." Instead of "did you eat," they say "did ya eat." These shortcuts happen naturally in fast speech. Try these phrases. What ya doing? Did ya eat? How you doing? Gonna go now. Practice saying them faster and more smoothly each time. Let's try a quick story using linking sounds. You're on the phone with a friend. You say, "Hey, what you doing?" They reply, "Just chilling." You ask, "Did ya eat yet?" You say, "Not yet. I'm gonna grab something soon." Then they say, "Cool. Wanna hang out later?" This is how Americans speak in real life. Casual, connected, and fluid. Practice this story until you can say it easily without stopping. Let's add another daily routine to help you speak naturally. It's Monday morning and you're getting ready for work. You say, "I gotta wake up early today." You brush your teeth and say, "I'm not really a morning person." You make coffee and mutter, "Need this to survive." Then you check the clock and say, "I'm gonna be late." While heading out, you say, "Let's do this." These are all very American expressions. Gotta, gonna, not really a morning person. And "let's do this." Try repeating this routine with feeling. Imagine the situation and act it out. Now, let's do a listening and speaking practice based on a typical American job interview. The interviewer says, "Tell me about yourself." You reply, "Sure. I'm a recent graduate in marketing. I'm really passionate about digital advertising, and I've done 2 internships in that area." The interviewer asks, "Why do you want to work here?" You answer, "I've followed your company for a while, and I admire the campaigns you've done. I'd love to contribute to your creative team." This type of clear, confident speaking style is very American. Practice answering similar questions. Use full sentences, but keep the tone friendly and genuine. Let's now shift to describing feelings and emotions. Americans often express feelings in casual, honest ways. Instead of saying "I'm very tired," they say "I'm beat." Instead of "I am happy," they might say "I'm pumped" or "I'm stoked." For stress, they say "I'm freaking out" or "I'm losing it." Try using these phrases in sentences. "I'm beat after that workout." "I'm stoked for the weekend." "I'm freaking out about this exam." Use tone and rhythm to sound natural. These phrases show personality and make your English more expressive. Let's continue with how Americans express agreement or disagreement in conversations. Instead of saying "I agree," they often say "totally," "for sure," or "exactly." And instead of saying "I disagree," they may say "not really," "I don't think so," or "I'm not so sure about that." For example, if someone says, "This pizza is amazing," a typical response might be, "Totally," or "Yeah, it's the best." If someone says, "We should skip the meeting," you might respond, "I'm not so sure about that. It's kind of important." Try practicing these responses aloud. Totally, exactly. Not really, I don't think so. Say them in a natural, relaxed tone. Let's imagine a conversation with a friend. They say, "I think we should leave early." You say, "Yeah, for sure. Traffic's gonna be bad." Then they add, "I don't feel like going, honestly." You might say, "Not really in the mood either." These are short exchanges that happen in everyday conversations. Practice acting out this dialogue. Notice how natural and informal it sounds. Another important feature of American English is how emotions are communicated through intonation. For example, if someone is surprised, they raise their pitch. Really? If they're unsure, the voice goes up at the end. Maybe? When someone's certain, their voice stays flat and low. Definitely. These tones help express emotions without changing the words. Practice this. Say really in a surprised tone. Say maybe with rising pitch. Say definitely with a confident, even tone. Repeat until it feels natural. Now, let's do a short practice story with emotions. Your friend tells you, "I just won a prize." You say, "Really?" They nod and you respond, "That's awesome." Then they say, "But I'm not sure what to do with it." You reply, "Maybe sell it." They say, "Yeah, maybe." Practice saying this dialogue using the right tones. Try it slowly, then build up speed. Now let's talk about speech fillers. Americans often use words like, and I mean in conversation. These aren't formal, but they're common in casual speech. For example, "I was like super tired." It's kind of weird. These fillers give you time to think and also make your speech sound more like a native speaker. Try practicing sentences with fillers. "I was, going to say something. It's like really cold today." I mean, I didn't expect that at all. Use them sparingly but naturally. Let's do a real-life example. You're explaining a confusing situation to your friend. You say, "I got to the station, but, the train wasn't there. I mean, it was supposed to be, on time." This kind of speech is relaxed and real. Practice saying the whole story with smooth rhythm and natural pauses. Next, let's look at some common phrasal verbs Americans use daily. A phrasal verb is a verb combined with a preposition or adverb. For example, pick up means to collect. Run into means to meet by chance. Hang out means to spend time casually. Practice these in sentences. "I need to pick up some groceries." "I ran into Sarah at the mall." "Let's hang out." These are very common and useful. Let's practice with a short story using phrasal verbs. You're on your way to the supermarket. On the way, you run into your old classmate. You both decide to hang out later that day. After shopping, you pick up a coffee and head home. Later, your friend calls and says, "Want to catch up?" You agree and meet up to chat. These kinds of phrasal verbs make your English more colorful and fluent. Repeat the story a few times and try to use the same expressions in your own daily stories. Let's focus now on how Americans show politeness. Instead of being direct, they soften their speech using words like could, would, maybe, and I was wondering. For example, instead of saying, "Give me a pen," an American might say, "Could I borrow a pen?" "Would it be okay if I used your pen?" This is called softening, and it helps maintain politeness and friendliness. Practice these soft expressions aloud. "Could you help me with this?" "Would you mind explaining that again?" "I was wondering if you're free tomorrow." These are all natural, polite ways to make requests. Try them in a real-world setting, with a friend, a classmate, or even in the mirror. Here's another practice exercise using polite expressions in a real-life scene. Imagine you're in a coffee shop. You say to the barista, "Hi, I was wondering if I could get a medium latte." They reply, "Of course." Then you say, "Could you also warm up the muffin?" They say, "Sure thing." You say, "Thanks so much." This kind of polite exchange is common in American culture. Practice it aloud until it flows smoothly. Now, let's explore the importance of stress in American English. In a sentence, Americans usually stress content words, like nouns, main verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. Function words, prepositions, articles, and auxiliary verbs are less stressed. For example, in the sentence, "I'm going to the store," the stress is on going and store. The words I'm, to, and the are said more quickly and lightly. Try saying it. I'm going to the store. Hear the rhythm? It's like music. Practice other sentences. She bought a new car. We had a great time. These patterns help your speech sound natural. Let's do a short story with stress practice. You're at the mall. You say, I need a new shirt for the party. Your friend says, let's check that store over there. You reply, yeah, they have good stuff. Practice saying these lines and emphasize the main words. This helps your English sound more like an American speaker. Finally, let's touch on cultural references and slang. Americans often use popular references and slang in casual conversation. For instance, that movie was fire means it was excellent. I'm dead often means something was hilarious. Other common slang includes lit for exciting, chill for relaxed, no cap for honesty, flex for showing off. Try using them in context. That party was lit. I need a chill day. No cap, that was the best burger I've ever had. Practice these phrases in your conversations to sound more native. Let's now talk about rhythm and how Americans naturally chunk their sentences. Instead of saying every word with equal time, they group words together in thought units. For example, instead of saying, I am going to the store, word by word, they say, I'm going to the store, with a short pause between the groups. This rhythm gives American English its musical feel. Try practicing this rhythm. I'm going to the store. She wants to hang out after work. Notice how each chunk flows as one thought. Let's do a short practice scene. You're on the phone with a friend. You say, hey, what's up? They reply, not much, just got back from class. You respond, cool, I'm thinking of going out later. Want to join? They say, sure, just let me grab some food first. Say the entire conversation while focusing on grouping and rhythm. Keep your tone friendly and natural. Repeat the lines until they sound effortless. Another aspect of American speech is contractions. Americans use them constantly, and they make your speech smoother. Instead of, I am, say I'm. You are, say you're. He will, say he'll. These contractions aren't just common, they're expected in spoken English. Practice using them naturally. I'm going to the park. You're doing great. She'll be here soon. We've been waiting. They'd love it. Repeat them multiple times to feel the flow. Let's put this into a mini story. Imagine you're talking about your weekend. You say, I'm planning a trip. It'll be fun. We've booked a cabin and we're leaving early. Say that story using contractions naturally. Then try changing it slightly. We're meeting some friends. They'll bring snacks. I've packed already. Using contractions adds speed and fluency to your American English speaking. Now, let's work on practicing longer monologues with all the techniques we've learned: intonation, contractions, natural phrases, rhythm, chunking, and American expressions. Here's a sample story. Try to listen, repeat, and then practice on your own. So last weekend, I went to this amazing little town about 2 hours from here. I'd heard about it from a friend, and I thought, why not? The drive was super chill and the weather was perfect. When I got there, I walked around the main street, grabbed some coffee, and just explored. It was so relaxing. I ran into a street musician playing the saxophone, and honestly, it made the whole day feel special. Practice saying this entire story out loud. Try to sound natural, relaxed, and expressive. Use contractions like I'd instead of I had and I've instead of I have. Add emotion to your voice and let the words flow smoothly. Let's try one more. Yesterday was kind of crazy. I woke up late, totally missed my morning meeting, spilled coffee on my shirt, and then got caught in traffic. But honestly, I just laughed it off. Some days are like that, you know? You can't do much, so you just go with the flow. Eventually, things worked out. I got to the office, handled everything, and even had a good chat with my boss. Again, say it slowly at first, then repeat with more confidence and fluency. Use the tone and rhythm that matches how Americans would speak. Now, let's focus on a few practice exercises to end our video. I'll say a sentence in a more formal way, and then show you how Americans would usually say it casually. Repeat both and pay attention to how the tone and word choice change. Formal, I do not know the answer. Casual, I don't know. Formal, I would like to join you. Casual, I'd love to join you. Formal, let us meet tomorrow. Casual, let's meet up tomorrow. Formal, I am not sure. Casual, I'm not sure. Formal, she is not coming today. Casual, she's not coming today. Practice each pair a few times. This will help you learn how to convert textbook English into real-life spoken American English. Now let's do one final daily routine story to tie everything together. Imagine it's Monday morning. I wake up around 6:30. I'm super tired, but I get up, grab a quick shower, and make some coffee. While I'm sipping it, I scroll through my phone, emails, social media. Then I throw on some clothes and head out. I take the bus, and the ride's pretty chill. At work, I check my schedule, knock out some tasks, and chat with coworkers. Lunch is usually something quick, maybe a sandwich or a salad. The afternoon drags a little, but I stay focused. After work, I hit the gym, then grab dinner on the way home. By 9, I'm winding down, watching a show, texting friends, just chilling. Then it's lights out around 11 p.m. This story covers a whole day using natural phrases, contractions, and common vocabulary. Practice this slowly first, then try to retell it in your own words. You can also create your own version of a daily routine. Just remember to sound relaxed, use real-life phrases, and keep it casual. And finally, a little tip. The more you listen to American speakers, through podcasts, shows, movies, or conversations, the more naturally you'll begin to speak like them. Don't be afraid to repeat lines, mimic accents, and immerse yourself in the rhythm and sound of American English. Speaking like an American isn't about changing your identity. It's about learning the habits of expression, tone, and rhythm that make English flow more fluently. So keep practicing every day. Repeat stories, act out conversations, shadow native speakers. And don't worry about mistakes. With time, you'll notice real progress. Your English will sound smoother, your confidence will grow, and you'll speak like an American without even thinking about it. Great job today! Keep it up! And if you found this lesson helpful, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a new episode. We upload English learning videos every day just for you. Take care and happy learning!